Welcome back to another video at Joe's Toolbox Exchange. Today we're going to be looking at this Westward tool cart. Ideally, I wanted to wait until we got a Matco MSC4 cart in because they're almost the exact same dimensionally and very similar. But this box is selling today here in about 30 minutes, so I thought we'd do a quick video why it's here in the shop. I don't get a lot of these Westwards in. I think they're a really good buy, especially if you're looking at comparing this to an MSC4. This box is a much better purchase in my opinion. Not just for the price, but for a lot of features that are inside of this box. This box retail at Grainger is $723. And that price would be lower if you have a large account with Grainger because their pay structure is variable. If you were buying a bunch of these, maybe for a student program or something like that, or outfitting a new shop, the price would be probably closer to $600, putting it a lot closer to the US General flip top tool price or cart price. We'll go over the dimensions of it first here. So this box from the floor to the top lip is going to be the same as the MSC4. It's going to be 40 inches. From this lip, not including the handle, to that lip, it's going to be 36 inches on this cart, and on the Matco MSC4, it's going to be 35. So this box is 1 inch longer. From the front to the back, it's going to be 22 inches on this box, and on the same Matco, it's going to be 21. So it's also a little bit deeper in this box. This box total storage capacity is 14,300. The Matco, they say, is 16,000. So they're saying the Matco has 1,700 more cubic inches of storage. I'm not exactly sure that is true. I think it may be because their wheels are slightly lower, and also they have one fewer drawer, so you are gaining a deeper drawer on one of them, which could add up to a little bit more cubic inches of storage. But if you were looking at from floor space on the box, you have quite a bit more storage because this box has 7 and the Matco has 6 drawers. So you do gain an extra drawer. On the Matco MSC4, the weight rating per slide is 90, and on this box it's 100. All of the drawers are double slid besides the bottom one. On this Westward cart, it's going to have 2 slides, so your bottom drawer is 200 pounds. So that's great if you have blow mold cases or battery jumpers or other heavy tools like pullers. Would definitely fit down in there. The price of this box is $723 and the Matco is $1,800. So this is a lot cheaper. It's closer to US General in price. I think the build quality of it is similar to the US General. Overall, it's mostly fully welded. They have the handle attached and a couple of bolts here, which I believe are just threaded to move the handle. Other than that, the entire thing is welded together. It comes from Westward ships them with a power bank here. This box does not have it in it. I'm not sure why, but the MSC4 does not come with the power. One complaint I have with both boxes is a lot of brands do this, even some of the tool truck brands. Mac does it, Cornwell does it, pretty much everyone besides Snap-on. When their boxes get smaller and cheaper, here, you can come show this. They put the cheapest liners in them. These are a foam liner. I really don't like them. They don't hold up that well. They tend to bubble as opposed to a Snap-on, even on Snap-on's small carts. This is the same liner material that you're gonna find in like an Epic. So the liners are always good in a Snap-on, but a lot of brands, they do go down. So although it's a knock for Westward, it's kind of a knock for all the brands. If you're looking at these, comparing them side by side, the US General's liners are better in their carts than even this, so that is something to notice. One thing I really do not like about the MSC4 is they have, you'll know by looking at that box, it has 2 handles kind of like this. They're about that big on either side. Every drawer has 2 handles going down it, and they have a detent system. On Matco, the bigger boxes, they have a dial on the side that you can turn up or decrease to change the tension on them. But the MSC4 does not have this feature. The detents are actually built into the slides, and it's a pretty low tension. So those drawers come open really easy on their own, especially if you have used a box for a few years and you roll it across the shop, the drawers all come open on it. And that's pretty dangerous. It can tip over, or the drawers can slam into other vehicles or machines as you pass by. This box, if you wanna show down here, this is an Epic, the Epic latch system. And over here on the Westward cart, we're looking at something a little bit similar. It's going to have a retention spring in them that is going to be reminiscent of what's in the Epic. It's actually more similar to a Cornwell. If you see this here, you pull this piece up and it releases the engagement here. So it's the entire length of it, and it's on both sides. The Cornwell carts, they're only on one side, so I think this is even a little bit better design than that. These drawers are not going to walk open on their own. Even if you hit a big bump or something there, they're super locked in there. So they have the same, if you want to show the top in here, the same pry bar system that pretty much all flip top carts are going to have, with even looking similar to the MSC4 with the drop down on this side for longer handle pry bars. And if you want to show on the side, same as the MSC4, you're going to have these lower ones. So either if you have really long screwdrivers, they can slide all the way through, long pry bars, they can slide all the way through, or some guys have additional screwdrivers on the outside of their box. Another thing I really like about this Westward tool cart is their locking mechanism. The MSC4 looks very similar to what's going to be like on this snap-on tool cart. If we can show it here, where you have a single pedal. So this is your on-off lever. I'm not a huge fan of that because, as you just saw, to access this, you have to kind of work the box around to even get it to face the right way. And on a cart, when you move it a lot, it's really annoying, especially if your floor is uneven. Where this Westward cart is a little bit better design, only if you are pulling the cart, you're not able to access them. So it does have a little bit of the same issue, but if you are pushing the cart, which you are generally doing, when you lock the pedals in, it actually locks the movement in from side to side. So at any 45-degree angle, you can lock them in, and now the box will not pivot on the wheels. Where if you lock a snap-on cart or a Matco cart, those wheels will still pivot, which is sometimes annoying because as on this box right here, you can see as we open it, that whole box tends to have a little bit of movement in it. So as you shove it, it kind of rocks back. If you have it up against a wall, it's just constantly rubbing the paint off the back of it. I like this design more. Mac has a similar design on some of their carts, where if you lock the wheel, it also locks that pivot mechanism. And Cornwell. The Cornwell design is slightly better than this, but on their full-size boxes, if you lock the wheel, it also locks out the pivot. Or Snap-on or Matco, none of their boxes have this feature. To disengage it, it's pretty simple. It's much easier than even what's on the Snap-on carts. We'll go over the dimensions here. This is where the power would be if you want to show the inside of it. This trough is for their power bank. I'm sure there's a couple other ones that fit with it, or you could put a Harbor Freight magnetic one in here if you wanted to down the road. From the lip to the lip, on the inside, you're about 35.5 inches. From the inside of the troughs, you're at about 31 inches. All of the drawers are going to be the same dimensions for this, 18 inches deep and 29.5 inches wide. And then all of your drawers are going to be about 2.5 inches deep, besides your bottom one being that double slid drawer at about 5 1/4. So if you want to show the slides from the side, what they look like. They're definitely light duty drawer slides. Maybe you can show it compared to a Snap-on. Snap-ons are much beefier. They're a little bit of a better build, but still, they're not claiming this is able to hold a bunch. They're claiming 100 pounds. You really do not need beefy drawer slides on these small boxes because the likelihood of you being able to put more than 100 pounds in here is pretty small. It comes into play a little more when you're looking at bigger 40-inch carts or, full-size boxes, because you could put, 300 pounds in a drawer. But this box, it's rated for 100. I definitely believe it. It feels like 100 to me. As all boxes, it's a flip-top box. The common problem with them is you do get this wear on the top of them just from things sitting on them, things sliding around. You go home for the day and one of your coworkers sets something on it and drags it across it. Almost every flip-top I get in has the same wear on them. Like with my Snap-on, this is why I have a mat on top of mine. Some people go that route. But when you're looking at a US General, the MSC4, you're looking at this Westward tool cart, they're all kind of the same. They're all going to have a painted top, and you're always going to have that damage on them. There are no additional supports on the inside of this. I wish I had a Snap-on here to show you, but Snap-on does have some extra support pieces built into their lid to give it some more rigidity. Really could not put much weight on the top of this without it folding this in. The box ships with 2 keys, similar quality to a Matco. I do like that the struts are farther back on a box. On some boxes, you see the struts are farther forward and they come in more of an angle. It's annoying because you lose. Sometimes the lid sits more like this. I like them to be closer to fully open so you can look into them easier, get more light into them, and also these pieces are out of the way. So if you're reaching to grab something, you're not trying to work around your struts. I think that's a good design there. Their hinge system is pop riveted, same as Snap-on or everybody else. The handle is ambidextrous. The wheels can switch, so if you wanted to have the steering end on the other side for some reason, maybe you're going to attach a side box, you could do so. Overall, I think this box, for a price of around $750 after tax, and you can pick it up at your Grainger, it's a much, much better box than buying a Matco MSC4. I really do not like the Matco MSC4s. I don't really take these boxes in too often. I don't take many MSC4s in too often either. I tend to try to go for bigger boxes that have more tools in them. This box came in on trade. The MSC4s I get on trade a lot. Guys have them for a year or two and really don't like them. They'll trade them in for something like a Snap-on. This box I'm selling today for $300. That's what the buyer is paying for it. That's coming to pick it up. At $300, I would rather have this box than the same Matco MSC4 for $300. And on the used market, you're not going to find an MSC4 for $300. Generally, those sell for like $500 to $600, which is a lot of money for a box that's really not that high of a quality. Neither the MSC400 or this Westward are manufactured in the U.S. They're both manufactured in Asia. The MSC4 being assembled in the U.S., but this is really just the slides being put on and the drawers being inserted. Other than that, that box is Chinese manufactured box. So I wouldn't keep that in mind if you're thinking you want to buy a high quality box. Just because the MSC4 says Matco on it, it's really a lower build quality than what you're going to find in something like a US General or a Westward. So if you guys are shopping around for a cart and looking for something that's a little bit smaller, a lot of people like these. They fit under lifts easier. So if you're working under a lift all day, it has a lot less height than what you're going to see on a Snap-on or a US General flip-top tool cart. So once again, I'll go ahead and let you see it, spin it around so you guys can see what the back and sides look like. Box moves pretty good, especially when you have it unlocked. That's going to be your bolts for your power strip if it had one. Another thing to note is Matco, Snap-on, Mac, and Cornwell, they're pretty forward with their model numbers. This model number is a little bit harder to find. They don't really advertise it on the box. Sometimes they'll put it, here it is. You'll find it on the inside of the box. This is where you're going to see a serial number, but even here, you're going to see the manufacturer date, 2022, 7/27. They do date their boxes. This box is a 55NJ78, and I don't even think it says that there. It does not. So if you're looking for the box, you go to Westward's website. 7-drawer flip-top tool cart is going to pull this model, but the exact model number for it is a 55NJ78. And it's definitely something I'd consider if you're in the market, and if you frequently use Grainger, it's really a great purchase. So thank you for watching, and until next time.